am now. All right.
Okay, Jesus Christ. So I don't know if y'all know or not, but well, of course you know that we're taking the break. But we were just talking about Philly or whatever. Out of nowhere, Archer cuts out his transformer outside his house.
It literally just got struck by lightning. There's a bird's nest on top of it. It is on fire right now.
Oh my god, that's actually. I don't know how your power just.
I don't know
back
either.
On.
I don't know how.
You almost
I'm
have a generator or something, bro. That is crazy.
It was insane.
Oh my god, that's actually kind of sick.
Yeah,
Zeus is just telling us, bro. Our podcast is so fire. You just gotta let us know. You know what I'm saying?
Fire.
That was crazy though, dude. That's actually insane.
Dude, I'm just happy my power's still on. I don't want to get too far ahead of the loop.
I wouldn't want to jinx anything either.
All right, what were we talking about? 76ers?
Talking about Philly was like underperforming, but like, bro, I don't even know if like
we can continue.
I'm still shook.
Hold up, wait, Tobias Harris went to Tennessee? Oh.
Yeah, he went to UT. He was cold at UT.
There's two players on the 76ers that went to Tennessee. Josh Richardson. I don't know that.
I didn't know. He's actually good too. I don't know if they played together actually. I think Josh Richardson was later. I want to say.
It says roster, Tobias Harris and Josh Richardson. Yeah. They didn't play
Josh Richardson. Those are the two guys that shoot well.
And Korkmaz from 3.
Yeah, but Korkmaz is off the bench. I'm talking about like the starters.
I didn't even know Richardson started.
And of course, Horford's like decent. So I got Ben Simmons. I want to say Richardson, Tobias, Horford, and Embiid. That's just like such a weird lineup.
Yeah, and they're all getting the bag. Like, didn't Tobias Harris get a max or something?
Yeah, he's getting paid,
dude. Like,
which I think they're regretting big time.
As an average basketball viewer, I don't know if he should have gotten that big of a bag.
Like, he's good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not that good. Like, he's not worth the max, and especially in last year's free agency class, there's so many other good players.
Yeah.
Like here, I would understand. Like there aren't like many good guys at all, other than of course Brandon Ingram, who the Pels are gonna pay probably. So like, you'd have to give the max because everyone else is gonna want him. He's the one good free agent. But last year, like I think it was 2/3 of the NBA, like had to sign a new contract.
2/3 of the entire NBA? Dang.
Yeah. Wait, contract.
Did LeBron didn't? When does LeBron contract end?
I think he was 4 years from like a year or two ago. So awesome. So I guess this is his second year with the Lakers, so he has 2 more years.
Yeah.
Or maybe he has 2 years in the 2-year player option. There's some sort of player option in there though. So
4 year, $154 million.
Yeah. So 4 years. Okay. So I was right.
When you guess and you get it right.
I remember, well, that wasn't like a guess.
I know.
I knew it was 100 and then 4 at the end of it on the millions. I just didn't know it was 50. But I remember him signing with the Lakers. I was honestly convinced. I thought he would have gone to the Rockets just because think about, he doesn't have to try in the regular season because he's got James Harden.
Yeah.
Like, that just seems so effortless for him. And then in the playoffs, he can take over, but I don't think that team would have worked out.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you think James Harden and LeBron James would work out? I mean, honestly,
I think they would. Look, if LeBron and let's look at Kyrie's track record since he left LeBron. I think LeBron can make anyone work with anyone. I mean he took J.R. Smith and George Hill. I mean, no offense to those guys, and like Tristan Thompson. He took all those guys to the finals without.
Well, yeah, but it's not. It's not that. That isn't because like James Harden expects the ball. He expects the shots.
I mean, look at him with Russ this year, though. I know he's been expecting the shots and everything, but he's let Russ take over a lot of games.
I know, but
Russ has had some monster games. I mean, he's going to take shots still.
What did Russ average, actually?
Russ, towards the end of the year, he started off the year really bad. Towards the end of the year, though, he's averaging like 30-something.
Yeah, he's averaging 27.
And that's at the beginning of the year. He's averaging like 18 or 19. Like, he just popped off at the end of the year. I've liked watching Russ. He's taken a lot of these centers with the small ball, and he's just taken them on the perimeter and then just drove in and dunked on them. It's actually
God. Oh, he has 2 MVPs? All-Star MVP.
No.
All-Star. He has 2016, 2017 MVP, but 2-time All-Star MVP.
I still don't really love watching him. I just don't like watching all the ISO.
I
But
think
I'm
Russ
starting to
is
like
pretty
watching
entertaining
Russell
to watch,
Westbrook.
honestly.
Russell Westbrook is entertaining.
Just
But
the
earlier in
way
the
he can
season, when
yam it
Westbrook
too
wasn't
is
getting the
just so
ball,
satisfying.
it's I don't. It's just the Rockets, dude. They're a weird team. Half the games I love watching, half the games I hate watching.
Yeah,
I can never really get a feel for them. But when Russ pops off, it's always fun to watch.
very true.
I mean, yeah, if the NBA season's over, I'm gonna be interested on kind of
Yeah,
how all of it
I don't
works
understand
out with the
how contracts
draft.
will work. Will this count
I
as a
don't either.
full year? Will this
This
count?
is what some stuff is saying though. So Rich Paul, LeBron's
Yeah,
friend from high school,
yeah.
who's his
Big
agent and
agent.
KD's
Yeah.
and other guys, he got their contracts. They're all getting paid, whereas
Yeah.
all these other guys aren't. Like they get paid a certain percentage of their contract. I'm pretty sure all the guys with Rich Paul are like getting paid like the max. Like Kevin Durant's still getting paid all that money. He hasn't even played a game.
For the net.
And he's getting paid while no one else is playing either, which is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
And so all those guys are getting paid while everyone else isn't. Which, granted, that's just a good agent. That's not them being greedy or anything. That's just having a good agent.
It's also just a weird
I mean,
situation. I mean, this isn't something
yeah,
you really
and no one
prep for
expected
in the
this.
terms of a contract
I
negotiation.
mean,
You don't
really, Rich
say.
Paul did though. I
Yeah,
mean,
honestly, that's
he did well. He's a great agent. As much as I dislike him because of that whole Anthony Davis thing, but great agent.
he knows what he's doing and he knows how to get his guys money. So
yeah,
that's really all you want in an agent.
One thing I'm concerned about though is the draft and a lot of this process because being a team,
extra eligibility because they're missing the tournament. So even though they played a full red,
I don't think they care
not the
about
players now. The freshmen are getting red shirts though. All the freshmen.
I don't think they care about that though. They're still going to go to the NBA if they're a top prospect.
I mean, I guess, but don't you have to go through 1 year of college or G League, whatever that thing is?
I think they're counting it. I think they're counting this last year as a year of college.
Really?
Yeah. They're not like revoking that 1 year.
Yeah, they did play the entire season. They just missed March Madness.
And I know we talked about this a little bit already, but we can talk about kind of I think it's Jalen Green, and him going to the G League over college.
Yeah.
And I personally think that this is going to make the NCAA do something. I think this is a good thing for the NBA and a good thing for these players. And I think that most players are going to choose this route.
I think it's going to force the NCAA's hand and make them offer some sort of, you can make money off your likeness, you can get a job. Like the NCAA, honestly, is a really stupid organization. Like they are very unfair to the players.
But with that being said, what you were saying is that kids are still going to choose to go to the NCAA. Like they're still going to choose to go there.
I said it depends on the player, but I do think that a lot of players, I think a lot of players enjoy and want to have that college experience, not as a college student, as a college basketball player. That is important to a lot of people. You have to remember that like people want to go to Duke, people want to go to USC and play basketball because that's what they've kind of dreamt of as kids. That's what their parents want them to do. I mean, it really depends on what the situation of the player is, their financial situation, like
I think
how
the
good they
financial
are.
Situation matters, but I think regardless, what your parents are going to want you to do is go to the NBA G League.
I mean, I think a lot of good parents want their kids to do what their kids want to do. And if their kid wants to go to college and play a year,
but if it's
then they're going to do that.
But that's if they want to go to college. I don't think they're going to want to go to college because look at a lot of these great NBA coaches now came from the G League. Nick Nurse, he was a G League coach like 2 years ago.
There's also a lot of really good college basketball coaches.
There are a lot of great college coaches, but that would be the counter argument. There are a lot of great NBA minds in the G League. You're already playing against. You're basically just preparing yourself better, I think, and you're making $500,000 while also the NBA is offering to pay for your college. We don't know if that's online college or what sort of college that is. If they get to choose the college, you're not sure. But I just think the risk of injury in college is too high for you to. Because what if Zion tears his ACL when that shoe blows out, and like his draft stock falls and he has to come back?
I mean,
to Duke, and
that's a risk
regains
now,
top
though.
20.
That's a risk when you go into college. Like,
that's a risk when you go into college. You get no money.
It depends on the player. There are people who will be like, I need the money now. My family's in a bad situation. And then there's people who live in maybe an upper middle class, where they can afford to take a year in college. Even if that entry risk is there, they still want to do that. They still want to play for their parents' alma mater, for a team they've looked up to, their hometown team. Like, it really is the player.
Sense, but
it's not.
That's going to be a 1%.
It's not which is better. It's which is the player deciding is better for them. It's not necessarily. Oh,
that
this
makes
one's
sense, but
better.
I think that's only 1% of players that's going to do that.
A 1% is going to want to go to college? No.
Of top guys.
When you say top, do you mean like top 10 or like top 3? Like
top 10.
Top 10?
That's not impossible for 1%, but I guess over 10 years, I think one of them will.
I mean, yeah, I think people will go that route. There are a lot of people who are in a bad situation financially, or maybe they grew up in a really rough neighborhood and their parents are in
financially, trouble. But like Ben Simmons, what do you think he would have done? I mean, granted, he definitely got paid to go to LSU. He was ineligible because he didn't go to the classes. Yeah. He just wanted to play basketball.
But so like you said,
some people, it works
Ben
for
Simmons,
each.
But Zion Williamson literally wanted to go back to Duke because he enjoyed it so much.
That doesn't mean that he wouldn't have taken the $500,000 though, because he wasn't offered that. I mean, granted, he definitely got paid $500,000. Like, he got paid to go to Duke. Like, his mom and Nike had some sort of scandal already that kind of got swiped under the rug. But that's, people get paid to go to college too. So I don't think it's honestly going to make that big a difference. But it's going to force the NCAA to pay the players more than they already are, because the NCAA is not paying anything.
I think they're going to
have to lift restrictions too.
Two really big things. I think it's going to be the players and their decision, and I think it's going to be first thing. I think it's going to force the NCAA to do something, whether that's player likeness, whether that's less strict rules on making money in college as a scholarship. Like, that goes for all athletes, not even just basketball, football, even curling. Like, that's going to come into effect.
See, that's the thing. Will it affect those other sports? That's actually a really good point.
I think it will, just because the NCAA as a whole controls that entire
I know the NCAA as a whole does that, but think about it like this. In the NFL, it's not a players' league. It's not a players' league. It's not based on one guy. You're not going to do something for one guy unless it's like a quarterback. That's about it. In the NBA, every player, it's a players' league. They control kind of what they're doing unless they're one of the bot. Like, the league is driven by the players, not the teams. And you can see that by all the player movement and stuff. Of course, people like the teams, but it's really the attachment to the players. In the NFL, you don't really have that as much. You can like those players, but like, there's so many players on a team that you're not going to get. There's always going to be a guy on that team.
One player doesn't change the outcome of your season unless it's a quarterback or possibly like one of the greatest running backs of all time. It doesn't happen as often as it does in the NBA.
And so, do we think that's going to force the NCAA's hand on basketball, or do you think they're just going to like submit and just let the G League kind of take over and take some of those more amateur guys?
Well, this is the same argument that had when the high school rule came into play, where you have to have 1 year of eligibility in college, or not eligibility. You have to have 1 year in college. That's the same argument, because college was getting worse players, right? That's the same thing that's going to happen.
Very few people came out of high school. That's like Kobe, Dwight Howard, LeBron James.
Yeah, but imagine them in the NCAA on a college team in March Madness. That's a lot of revenue.
That is a lot of revenue. I don't think it's the same argument, though. I just think the players have
I think it's similar, but you're right. I don't think it is the same argument.
I don't think what I'm trying to argue differently, I guess, is that basketball is different than football and in all those other sports. So what I'm thinking is, would the NCAA try and create subgroups of itself and have an NCAA basketball and NCAA football so they don't have to pay these other players? Because that's something the NCAA would do.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think
actually
make it off your likeness. I think that they're gonna crack it. They're gonna find some way to not benefit football players or track runners. Although, granted, I don't know if they're gonna be profiting as much off their likeness if they're a track runner. But still, because
I mean, you don't know that. We're not on the track side of social media.
We don't. They could. Who knows?
You can make money in anything. You can get a deal with Nike. You can get a deal with Under Armour. But
I don't think you can get a deal. They're not gonna let you get a deal in college. You can get a deal in the NBA.
No, that's the
or
thing.
Overseas.
That's the thing. This is going to force the hand of the NCAA to let these players sign with Nike early or make jersey sales revenue. Even like something as little as a really bad player on our team getting a job at McDonald's. Right now, that is not okay. You can't do that. But
I don't know.
That's going to change after this if it does force their hand eventually.
You see, I don't know if this is going to force their hand, though, because the more we're talking about it, it's like they make so much money off of football, too.
Yeah, I know.
Like, they're still going to have March Madness. It's just going to be not as good players. People are still going to watch it. People bet on those games.
Are going to be upset. So, like, there might be
they're going to be upset, but
they've
been upset for the last 20 years.
That decide this is it. We're not going to play for you anymore if you're going to keep doing this to us, and they don't go to college.
But they've been upset for more. That's the only option for college players.
I understand that, but
I mean, go to the NFL. You're not just going to not play. If that's
you can play Australian rugby.
I don't think that's the way.
I think that's what I would do. Yeah, maybe that's the next thing. People just go play rugby in Australia.
But that is a really good point with the football. I don't know what the NCAA is going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if the NBA tried to deal with. But like theoretically, people are still going to watch March Madness if it's not as good players. People bet on those games. It's March Madness. It's just something you watch.
Well, think about Zion.
Think about it like this. My mom last year wanted to watch Zion. She would have never watched March Madness, but she wanted to see Zion. Like, it's just stuff like that. Because you hear about all these players that are so great.
That happens is college sports. As a college team, I enjoy professional sports more personally. But if you're a fan of a college team, you're not really a fan of players on the team because you know they're going to leave.
That's true.
But you're a fan of the team. So these fans
that's a great point.
Are going to want to watch Duke win a championship. I mean, you and your mom might have wanted to watch Zion, and I'm sure there's millions of others that would do the same.
Yeah, and that's still a loss of money. But there's still going to be a market.
Yeah, it's
there's
not going
to be a market for it. It's just not going to be as big.
Yeah.
And so it's if the NCAA wants that bigger market, or if they're just going to have to deal with having that smaller market to keep college football guys not getting paid.
Yeah.